Let's get rolling. First thing I thought, it was good to see the rookies. I really enjoyed the preseason. We put so much time in the development side with these guys. So when I get a chance to watch them play, man, like it's something that I love every year of going for it. They come in early, extra time, extra walkthroughs at night just to put themselves in a position to where they can go compete and do their thing. And so first action for them, it's a big deal. It's never lost on me. I love that. As far as the turnover margin, anytime we're in +2, that's something, that I'm always looking for. It's part of our philosophy about the ball. And then I think lastly, it was good to be back here, in front of the fans and that. And so we're going to be on the road for a few weeks. So I felt them, and that was cool. So, John, why don't we get it rocking?
Do you have an update on Marcus Mariota?
I don't. I know we're connecting on Sunday, so I'll give an update on Marcus and some of the other guys that we've talked about, who couldn't be back. Maybe it's Bates and Nick and some of the other guys. So we'll evaluate the guys tomorrow, and I'll have a good sense for what's ahead for the week. We're still in camp mode, so I'll try to give you the best updates as I can.
And speaking of the rookies, Sonny Styles gets his first action. I know only one series. What did you see from him? And then also, what did you see from Robert Henry as well?
The second person, please. Yeah, Rob, got it. So I was just visiting with Sonny outside, and so it was like having a little sip today, just got a taste of what it's like and how to go. And so I wasn't pleased defensively on the first drive. I just felt like it was slow going there. And then I thought they got their feet underneath them and got going, but both sides we started a little slower than I would have liked. And then I thought the teams, got rolling from there, and there was a lot of battling back and forth. But Sonny, I expect, good technique, good speed. And those are the things that he's demonstrated so far in camp. And as far as Robert goes, he and Katron both, I thought, had a nice night, John. And also for Jerome Ford went out. We had 3 backs for the game. And so when Jerome was out, there was really no flinch from these guys, playing on teams, returning. And so that was a good sign. I felt, outside stuff with Rob. And so it was kind of cool to see both these guys, with Katron finishing the game with a first down and a touchdown towards the end. Like, those are the physical style runs we'd expect from him.
How much of these preseason games are you evaluating individuals and their own performances versus combinations of groups and seeing how they perform together?
Give me a little more context. I'm with you on the evaluation.
When you're determining the depth of the defense, are you looking at individual guys? How do they fit? How do they play?
Yes.
How do they look? Or is it looking at packages? I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. First, individually, to say, okay, skill wise, where it's at, where does it go? I think what you're referring to and what I would call is when do roles start to develop into packages, into going. So, for instance, you saw Owens playing some nickel. You're seeing, who can have some designated pass rush interior-wise, who's got strength. So those are the things I look for. Sometimes even in these games, Nikki, there's a little bit more man-to-man, just to, okay, what does that look like to find out? And we did it a little bit in the practice and even a little bit in the game, but it's an important piece. It's not game planned, any of it, but there is some evaluation to go. So to answer your question, a little bit of both, but I do look for the individual skill first, and then, okay, based on that, what would that role look like and how would we feature the guys together, like even at the running back spot today, in tandem, how did we use them, what did that look like? So a little bit of both.
Quinn and Will Harris played a little more than sort of the other veterans who were coming back. What did you want to see from them? What did you see from them?
Yeah, I was really pleased to see Quinn from the ball. I knew that's something that he can get to places due to his speed and athletic ability to get to it. So I was pleased with that. Will's got size to thump and tackle, and so we wanted to give them some extended time. It may switch a little bit in the next game. We're fortunate at that position that we're deep, and so it may not be the same next week in terms of how we'd go. But for today, that was the plan, to say we held Revo and Nick, and then next week they'll be playing. How does that change? What does that look like? So by design for sure, but it's a good problem. That's not a problem at all.
Good evening, Coach. First full NFL game run for your coordinators. How do you feel like they did?
You know what? I felt both guys felt really prepared going into it. In terms of what it looks like, there'll be things to communicate differently, headsets, how does it go, but both of them really felt in control. I was listening a lot tonight just to see how the communication goes, call, how in on time and packages. So it's actually can be difficult in the preseason because you're not game planning and, okay, this is what I want to feature on this third down. This is what they like to do. So I thought both guys, I'd give them high marks for starting us off. Good collaboration from the coaches too.
I noticed throughout the game, the guys that didn't dress between periods, between drives, they're with the iPads, with the guys who are dressed, and they're in the huddles and hearing the coaches and encouraging guys and giving them tips. How impactful can that be, not just for the entirety of the preseason training camp, but just for the real-time learning that these younger guys are going through?
Yeah, it's a big deal. And like earlier in the day, we said if it's 50 plays for you, we'd expect relentlessness as a part of identity. If it's 25 plays and your shoulder pads may come off at the half, and then it would be that 25 relentless and then unbelievable support. And if you're playing no plays, demonstrating for the guys in the fight what kind of support they could have. So I was happy to see that. I'm not surprised, but it was cool to see that they wanted to see these guys have success. And so when there was a big play to be made, there was a lot of excitement on the sideline. So I felt it from the crowd, but I also felt it from the sideline. So tonight was hard. There were some guys that had to battle through, being gassed when I pull people and other guys, get opportunities, but it's also part of the fun of preseason.
Hey, Dan, you said the other day you wanted to see more competition on the offensive line. That's why you brought in some guys. I know it's a little hard to see in real time with the line, but what have you thought between practice and today, how that went?
Yeah, I thought, going into it, talking to these guys and also Byron at defensive tackle, I say, man, we're looking for some dependable men that can raise the standard. And I thought they did that. And so on the interception, I think it might have been Cajo at the end. I thought Byron had good push, but adding Max and Trey, and Nick into the group, it's felt good, Ben, to have them part of it and getting going. And I would say as we're moving forward, they'll even get more, as we're moving forward. But they're off to a good start.
On the way he plays, it feels like the practice maybe not a great test for him because there's no tackling. So what did you think of the opportunity for him to, get in there and hit some people?
Yeah, it's fair because it's kind of like a bigger back, and so in practice, would he have got stopped there? Would have been more? It's kind of like in practice a couple years ago with Jaden, like, would he have been sacked or not? And he would not have been. But a little bit of that with Katron. In practice, we're not tackling to the ground, so would he be able to get yards after the hit? And so I'll be anxious to see what does that look like after the contact. But I like the backs. They're in shape. They were focused. They were ready. And like I said, when they came out to be a little shorthanded, there was no flinch. And that was a good sign to me.
Take 3 more.
Hey, Coach. Good evening.
Good evening, Kenny.
You just mentioned Ale Cajo.
Yes.
So he played a bit longer tonight and looked like he was doing some leadership things on defense. So what can you say about his performance?
Yeah, so when Ale came in, he was a signal caller. And so that part, has been something that he's been growing in. We didn't do that much in his first season. He's always had like a good impact on special teams in his first year. But what you're seeing this year, he's grown the habits, the practice, the techniques. He's always been like a tough competitor. But to see him evolve and grow. That's why I named him, the special teams captain for tonight. I thought with Yankoff and Jay-Z and Ale, these are 2 guys. We said, could they come back in crazy shape? Could they come back to compete? And the 3 of them have really established, hey, man, I'm here to fight. And I really respect that about him.
And the first defensive drive may not have been the favorite moment.
It certainly was not. Yes.
So what are some of your immediate reactions to that drive specifically?
Yeah. So early on, I thought just in the run game, it felt, like they were, moving yards after contact. Didn't love how, their pass rush to, affect Willis into that space. So although we started slowly, I thought we picked up, steam after that. But as far as a first drive goes to, take it all the way down the field, because kicking off, I think they might have muffed, the catch to go and then to have a long drive, it's like, damn. So I wanted to find out their resilience and fight. And so to see them come back and get stops after that, I was pleased. But I just thought we needed to start, a little more aggressively, not from a play calling standpoint, just, like how we play.
John, last one.
What did you think of Ethan's performance tonight?
Coming in, I was pleased to see him in the chaos. And so I thought both quarterbacks did a nice job at the end of the half. It's not something that's going to show up on the stat sheet, but Sam using a lot of the clock, 2 minute at the end of the first half. We were able to get in, and so using that clock so they don't have another op, knowing that we were going to get the ball to start the second half. And then for Ethan to see him communicate and then also be at the end of the game using the clock in a 4-minute, anytime you can basically end the half, with the ball, to get points and end the game, with it. That's a big deal, and the quarterback has a big responsibility in that, using the clock. I didn't use timeouts until it got to a certain spot, so he felt calm in the space tonight. I'll be looking forward to watching him. I thought you'd see his arm strength come out a little bit, and it did on some of the play-action passes. Both probably had a couple throws they'd like to have back. Sam had an interception and one that could have been AK on a sack, that needed to be a throwaway to cause the longer yards. Those are learning lessons that they need. And I knew coming in that there would be mistakes, but I also recognized, make them. How do you learn from them? How do you grow? And that's what I'm looking to see from he and Sam, as we're going. When the mistakes happen, are they repeated? Do they grow? But I thought, DJ did a nice job getting the guys ready into that spot. Obviously, they want to see Marcus leave earlier. But Sam, I thought, was ready for the moment and made a couple good throws and some conversions that we needed at that time after a long drive, to go down and score against us.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys. And all right. Safe travels home. We'll see you Sunday. Is that right? What day is today? All right. Day.